Hi guys. Hi. Welcome back to Ash and Friends. Me and my friends are here. Our special guest is Nigel Wells.
Hi,
You
y'all.
need to tell them a little bit about who you are. Like you are really known around the Burlington County area.
Okay.
Like when you call me, I just want to be known before we even start the conversation. When you call me, right? After I got the phone with you,
Yeah.
I called my mom
Mhm.
and I was like, "Yo, mom, Tyler Perry just called me. Tyler Perry just called me and asked me if he could be on my show." Yo, I was so psyched. Yo, you don't even understand. Like, I'm really a big fan. I really, really love you, yo. I was so happy I texted Zaria. Like, yo, I was like, yo, I'm so honored to have you here. Like, I know I'm older than you. Like, most you guys don't know, but we grew up together. But, Nigel is he grew up to be a very wonderful young man, and he's very known. I want you to tell him, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But I'm so grateful for you to be here. I'm really, really like your biggest fan. And of course, you guys, I love you guys so much. I couldn't talk to you. I wouldn't even feel comfortable to talk to you guys without them here. So I really appreciate you guys. So today's topic is about communication. Okay, so let's talk about it. Okay, this needs to be talked about. We need to talk about communication, guys. Okay, for some reason, I don't want nobody to get sensitive. Okay, but for some reason in the black homes and community, we don't want to talk about nothing. Okay, we nip it in the bud, we put it up under the rug, and it's not right. So we want to talk about communication. So, um, I guess I can ask you guys, what is right? This is definitely a good question. My mom asked me this question today. So I'm gonna go ahead and bite off of you, Mom. Appreciate you. What is the most important component of communication?
I'll answer.
Okay.
The most important, what is it?
The most important component
Most
of
important
communication.
component of communication is the willingness to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes!
You gotta be willing to listen.
That is the answer.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is the answer. My mom was like, "What? How did you know that?" I'm like, "Tune in." Tune in. Yeah, it's definitely listening. You have to be able to listen first to be able to learn anything,
Anything.
and don't listen to um automatically just to have a rebuttal, to have a defense. Listen to grasp and learn and take in, and so it could be instilled in you,
Absolutely.
and you could grow as an individual and as a human being. So,
And, just to piggyback off of that, what she said about listening. Sometimes it could be a friend, it could be a boyfriend, girlfriend, parents, whatever it is. But you have to make sure that you don't get so defensive to the point where you block out everything that that person is saying. You know what I'm saying? And then what begins to happen is that when you do all of that, it's like, well, that conversation is now thrown out the window, and now everybody's walking around like nothing happened when it's the elephant in the room. That's not cool. Like she said, you got to be able to listen, sit down. If you're mad, try to put your pride aside.
yeah.
That's the problem. Put your pride aside and listen to whomever you may have an issue with, or it may not just be an issue. Somebody could just want to talk to you. So listening is a big, huge component with communication.
Absolutely. I believe that when you listen, you can give out a more appropriate answer,
Absolutely.
appropriate feedback.
Yeah.
Because you're listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an answer that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just an answer that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
TD Jakes, he said this. He said before I say what I say, before I do these open discussions, I find things that I could be inspired by. Of course, real information that I could teach you guys, and Of course, I teach you guys off of my own experiences as well, but I also get it from people that's also teaching people that you guys all know about too. So I got this from TD Jakes, and he said, people who struggle to communicate with others, people struggle to communicate with others who think differently. Learn the language to communicate in the language of others to understand. So that basically means learn the language of the listener. You know, and just to be completely real, before we started this live, me and my sister, we had an argument about listening, a lot about communication. And you know what? Like as the big sister, you was right. You know, it don't matter how I feel about, how you feel. I need to listen so I could understand how you feel.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You're so right. Who am I to sit here and have a whole conversation to the world about communication? And I can't even communicate with you. You were so right, you know? And that's the thing. Like you said people get frustrated. People get mad, and that's what I was getting. I was getting mad because I seen the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So I was mad because you didn't see it.
Yeah.
You know, so but that just cuts it all out, and that's not right. And that's the problem. And then that's why people friendships and relationships, and whether your mom, coworker, sister, brother, girlfriend, auntie, uncle, nephew, niece, people are struggling with communication because you just get frustrated. You know, you get frustrated because of how you feel, and it's not about you, and it's about yeah.
And you know what I always say, I have to remember to remind myself to, you know, don't take, how did I say it? Don't take into consideration of somebody's emotions on the outside. You know, their emotion appearance, taking their feelings from the inside. And make sure that you can hear what they're saying, you know, and also listening, because if you don't take into consideration of that particular person's feeling, they're not going to ever want to talk to you ever again. Because you're not sitting down, you're not calm, you're not composed. When you say one thing, well, I'm just come back at you. You know, that's not how that should be. You got to take into consideration of the other person's feelings. You know.
Yeah. There are 3 different definitions to the word communication, but I specifically am talking about social contact, just in case anybody is confused. COVID-19 made us all scared of each other. We're just gonna keep it real. It made us all scared of each other, and most importantly, it made us stop talking to one another.
Yeah.
Okay. Talking to each other is how we survive as a species. I have to talk to you. I have to talk to you. That's exactly why I have Ashen friends. Because if you guys can't articulate the words that are coming from my mouth, maybe you may be able to understand it from Monty, or you may be able to understand it from Zani and my other friends that you guys will meet, and Nigel as well. And that's why I have this show. I feel like we all need to talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what do you guys? I have a question. What do you guys feel like your number one problem is in communicating?
I don't know how to talk to people.
Okay. What do you mean? Like, okay, elaborate.
Like, we could be having a conversation and you could take my tone of voice because I come off strong as me being madder than what I am. And in reality, it's just my tone of voice.
Okay.
I have worked on trying to tone that down.
Okay, that's good.
I'm working on it.
That's good. So that's a form of communicating. You understanding, excuse me, where you go wrong, and communicating. That's a way of communicating as well. Yeah. What about you, guys?
Me, I believe that with any information, or not any, at least what I think to be negative information from somebody that's trying to help me, I always get defensive. I get defensive because I always think that they're actually trying to attack instead of help.
Okay. And is that because you can't? Do you know what? Can you distinguish what a lie and real help looks like?
sorry, guys. I believe that because of me growing up to it was all negativity. I felt like it didn't ever feel like they were trying to give me advice. It felt like they were attacking me when they would call me names and things like that. When I'm talking about my family, my biological family, it will always seem like they were attacking, and I just built this wall up thinking that everyone is gonna attack me. But that's not true.
Wow.
It's not true.
Wow.
So, excuse me. I think that at this point, oh, I'm sorry, Nigel. Can you answer the question?
Yeah. I believe my biggest fault in communication is shutting down. Cause I am a communicator. I do talk to people. That's just who I am. And when I see that somebody, cause I'm an honest person, you know what I'm saying. So when I see that somebody is almost like taking defense in what I'm saying, and they start coming at me, I'm gonna say, okay, it is what it is. I'm gonna close my mouth and have a conversation with myself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I don't got the time to sit there and go back and forth with you. So I just tend to just really shut down. So it's a process. I'm working through it, but I could already feel the tension and how far the conversation and where the conversation is going to go. So I'm just not going to even, maybe we'll pick it back up with it sooner on when I am ready to really, communicate with you and maybe change my appearance and change my tone than the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That's also key too. How do you change your tone and how do you change your appearance when you have to talk to your significant other or your friend or your mom or your father and stuff like that? Do you just come at them like, yo, da, 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 or do you come with them and be like, hey, can I talk to you real quick? And bring them to the side. You ain't got to do it all in the open. Everybody ain't got to know your business.
Mm-hmm.
Try to take a different approach with it. So that's also what I have to learn as well.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you mine, right? I guess I shut down too, because at some point I just feel like you don't even care about what I gotta say, and shutting down is not good either.
It's not.
Because then you just keeping all of that within, and then really you just gonna build up. We talked about anger and sadness, and then builds up you being, upset towards them, and then now you gotta forgive them, So yeah, I shut down and I don't want to talk about it, but I'm learning that we need to talk about it, because that's the thing. When we talk about things, we're talking about it to learn or for solutions. That's usually why we talking about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Not to bring on more problems than we already started with.
Right.
Yeah, we're not doing it for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's why we talk about it. And I think my next question was going to be, why do you think we have a problem with the way that we communicate? And if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna answer first. I feel like it's learned behavior.
Okay.
I feel like it's learned behavior. I personally, my own opinion, excuse me, I promise y'all I don't have COVID. Okay. All right. The pollen count was really high today.
It was.
And I'm really going through it. I promise you. No one has COVID here. Everybody actually has a vaccine. Okay, so we good. All right, I just want everybody to know that. So anyway, yeah, what I was saying. Dang, I forgot. I'm so sorry. My train of thought got off. But communication is about connecting with each other. Okay, that's the whole point. We're supposed to. Oh, I was saying it's learned behavior.
Yeah.
It's learned behavior. I believe, my personal opinion, my generation suffered, like our generation's parents. No offense, y'all, okay? Because I love and respect every last one of y'all. It's not y'all fault. I've learned that now too.
Absolutely.
But I believe my generation, my parents' generation, parents did not communicate with their kids. You know,
Right.
like
Didn't communicate.
you had
Didn't
yo,
tell
oh
children
my
anything.
goodness, and mental health is so big in my generation
Yeah,
right
absolutely.
now. Because, and I personally believe because of our parents' generation,
Absolutely.
because of what they parents
Right.
did to them, you know, it's
Absolutely.
all learned behavior. So, in my mom's generation, if you fell, okay, you could skin your knee
Mhm.
instead of white meat.
Yeah.
You had to get back up,
Okay.
shut up, stand up, scrape it off, and you better not cry,
Yeah.
okay? And we ain't gonna talk about it when we get home. We're not gonna talk about
I
it.
don't get no ice cream.
No.
Right, no.
I barely got a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Got a Band-Aid. So
Yeah.
let's go
Yeah.
out.
Yes.
It's the truth.
And that went on generations and generations, and it really caused people to shut up.
Yeah.
You know, people don't talk anymore. People don't want to talk about it no more. They don't care to talk about it no more. They'd rather really keep it within, and that's why there's more. Yeah.
And then that leads to like suicidal thoughts and
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's a
Absolutely.
whole big factor. Like you said, our generation, we lack one half of us already feel like they were left out in the cold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And we always feel as if and it's crazy because they can say, hey, go to counseling. Sometimes some people that I know, the counselors don't even help them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I'm like, what you mean? That's what they get paid the big bucks for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's nothing wrong with and I can say this because I'm just I'm very bold and blunt. There's nothing wrong. One, you got to trust somebody who you tell your business to.
Mhm.
That's one. You got to trust the ones that will listen to you and not run and tell your business. You see what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So you have to. I'm about to stop preaching that.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, like, if you say that you cool with this person, you gotta first get to know them to know that you could tell them any secret. You feel me? You have to make sure that who you're telling or who you're communicating with, that they're able to secure what you're saying with it, just between the both of you. Because if I'm going out and such and such finding out, oh, now you did this, I'm gonna have to go back to that first person that I told you, like,
Right.
nah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's my business. Cut it out. And then after that, then that's when we start shutting down. Everything it's a domino effect. Since that one told that one's business, you don't feel like talking to the wife, and everybody know your business.
Right.
Now everybody know your business.
Right.
So you gotta be mindful and who you are communicating with. Because sometimes, like you said, everybody can't always communicate with their parents.
No.
Yeah.
But that's excuse me. That's because their parents don't know how to communicate. That's why. And I'm gonna just tell all y'all that's upset, about that. Let it go, baby. Just let it go. All right, let it go. Cause it's not their fault, y'all. They only teaching y'all what they know. That's the bottom line, and that's the truth.
Absolutely.
So just let it go, and then just learn how to just grow from there.
Yeah.
No, and I didn't learn. I didn't learn my communication skills from my parents. Okay, I didn't. I learned it from my best friend's parents.
Yeah.
And I learned I seen how they ran their household, and excuse me, I seen how they ran their household, and I that was learned behavior. So I took that into my life, and I use it, and I still use it now to the day. And I love the structure that a lot of my best friends, all of my best friends, they all had a running structured household. And my household wasn't, but it's okay. Like, that's what I'm here. I'm good. Like, shout out to y'all. I love y'all. Okay, I love all y'all. I just want y'all to know that. But yeah, that's how I feel about learned behavior. I think that, and so let it go, guys. Don't be mad at them. Don't be mad at them.
Go.
Don't be mad at them. What you do is you learn it, and then come back and teach them, because at some point, I mean, I know we ain't supposed to be teaching our parents, but I mean, some parents may have high egos, so guys, do it respectfully. Okay,
Absolutely.
be respectable to your parents. But maybe you can maybe teach them in a way. You know, we're all here to teach. Communication is connecting to one another. So I'm supposed to teach you something that you don't know. You're supposed to teach me something that I don't know. And all of us as well. Like, and by talking to each other, communicating with one another. Anything else anybody got to say?
I think that one thing we can fix as a generation or anybody is the lack of empathy that we have. We have a lot of people have the inability to put themselves in the other person's shoes.
Yeah. Taking yourself outside of yourself to understand the other person.
That's important.
That is so true.
And
that is so true.
And the thing, when you don't do that, when you don't put yourself in that other person's shoes, then it makes that person feel as if that, they just don't care about you, they just want to care about how they feel, what they're saying and what they're doing is okay. Because at the end of the day, within the conversation, it's never going to be like an equal score. You know what I'm saying? One person may be mad, the other person may be happy, and then the other person may just try to get the last word just because they just want to, because it's going to make them boost their confidence. But really, you really have, like you said, show empathy for that other person or even sympathy for that other person, because at the end of the day, somebody's coming to you for a particular reason. They see you, and if you guys are not trying to come together, to have a conversation, at the same time, maybe one needs to just come to you, just to hear me out for a second. You know what I'm saying? Just like I need your advice about this. And sometimes when people come to you for that type of conversation, it doesn't necessarily mean you always have to tell them what to do.
Right.
They just need somebody there
to listen.
Yeah.
To listen.
So you gotta understand what part you play when somebody does come to you, if you have to have a conversation.
Have empathy. T.D. Jakes said that more things have been changed with a mic, meaning your mouth, than with a gun. I want to see those articles. I want to see them. Like, why? I do. I want to see them. I believe that, but because your talking is very powerful. It's very powerful. Yeah, it's very powerful to say something. And it's so. We said that in what was it? The anger and sadness open discussion. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Watch what you say. Watch what you say. Watch what comes out of your mouth. Watch what you speak into the atmosphere. I think I said, if you wake up and say you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be tired all day. Even if you're tired, say, "Oh, I feel great."
Shut up now.
Even if you're tired, you know what I mean?
No, it's the truth,
say, "I feel great. I feel great." You gotta speak life into yourself. But you have to open your mouth to do that.
Yes.
You have to literally open your mouth to do that.
Yes.
T.D. Jakes said he thinks that it takes a lot of boldness to come into the room and be a student. And being a student is what we gotta do as a student, guys.
Yeah.
We gotta listen. We gotta listen.
As human beings.
Listen to obtain the information, not just to
come back with a comeback. Oh, you said this, so I said that. Listen. Give it a hug. Come give me a hug.
Oh my goodness. That's powerful.
He said, I think we all have things to offer, but we just don't know how to get it out.
Yeah. That's me. I told you I don't always feel I have the right tone of voice to talk about. So I don't say nothing at all because I know it's gonna come off wrong to you. You're just gonna respond to snap. Then I'm gonna respond to snap. So I'm gonna dead the whole thing before it even starts. The whole thing play out in my head like, nah, I'm good. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna put that in the trash. We're gonna move on. That's just it.
How do we deal with people that don't know how to get it out?
We find out why they don't want to get it out, or what they've experienced in the past.
Yeah. You,
But they don't know how to talk about it. They don't know how to get it out.
You-
It's like how many y'all found them out?
Like they really just expressing themselves, but we feel like they about to punch us
You
in the
feel like I'm
face.
attacking you? I'm just literally trying to get it off my chest.
Listen. I
And people like that, they're usually the ones that struggle the longest because no one understands them. They're usually called, "Oh, I'm misunderstood."
yes,
It's not good to want to be misunderstood.
yeah, and when you know, 'cause I was going through it, you know, when a person, because you really have to really understand that particular person and
Mhm.
why they can't communicate. So,
Yeah.
so what that means is you take your time, you understand that person, or if even if it's just a friend, you understand that person. Like, well, what's because sometimes some folks listen. It's so hard because when they gonna feel like, well, if they put it out there, they're gonna be judged. If they put it out there, they're gonna be misconstrued. If they put it out there, people gonna laugh at them. People gonna talk about them. You know, and then when we look at that, we gotta be like you said, well, what did you go through in the past? You know what I'm saying? What
We need
happened?
to get to the root of to
You
the
see what I'm
tutor.
saying? Because
That's what we need to get. The
You know?
root of to the tutor. Let's talk about it. That's
Let's talk
what
about
it
it.
is.
And
Yeah.
especially like you said, if I'm coming here with open arms, you know, it's like you can trust me. But here's the thing: you can't. Me personally, this is my opinion. I don't believe that you should push or prime somebody to get out what they know they need to get out. Only because now they feel pressure. Now they feel like,
Now you want to explode.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just gotta, because it always comes with the timing of the season.
Mhm.
I believe
You know?
nobody heals
You see what I'm
at
saying?
one pace.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. So,
That's very true.
and me, I used to have this thing with my ex significant other. It was just that whole thing where I was getting agitated. I'm like, yo, I'm here, but you're not talking.
Mhm.
So the only thing I knew how to do was just take it to him because I I will communicate, but she ain't trying to hear all that because everything that's in her mind is gonna be in her mind, and she really don't care what Nigel got to say because now you're just talking a whole bunch of goulash.
Right.
So with that whole thing, it taught me how to just be patient with the next one that comes and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
you never don't know anybody's time when they have to open up, but you do pray for that particular
Yeah.
individual.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah. You know, that's actually when you say you're being patient and stuff like that. That's actually doing what I said earlier. Learning from the listeners, man. Learning from the listeners because that's real, true communication.
Yes.
You know, I would never in my life ever cut you off when you're speaking ever again.
Again.
You know, and you had to communicate that with me for me to understand that about you. No matter how angry, whatever you talking about, how much it makes me angry, no matter how it does that to me, I'm gonna shut up and I'm going to listen to you because that matters. That matters. Most of the time, people just want somebody to listen to them.
Right.
People just want somebody to listen to them. TD Jakes said this. This gave me chills. He said, "Don't bury by not talking." This is how I grasp it. Maybe you guys grasp it a different way. Don't bury your potential, your greatness. Being fruitful to the fullest of your potential. You gotta be fullest. You shutting up is you stopping and you being great and you just being awesome. And whatever God called you to be. You know, but you not talking about it is you're cutting that time in half. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing with your time. You know, he said, don't bury your potential. It's not about money, but it's about being fulfilled and being fruitful at your fullest potential. That's what it's about. My mom told me this story in the Bible. I don't really know. Please don't quote me. Okay, guys, I'm not really good with the Bible. But listen, she said it was 3 guys in the Bible. One guy God gave like 5 gifts to. Another guy God gave like 3 gifts to. And another guy God gave 1 gift to. One of them, 2 of them, one of them came back, they multiplied it. Another one came back, they multiplied it. I don't know if it was by time 2, time 3. The other one that came back, the one that got the 1, he buried it.
Mm.
And you know what God said
Your
to
mom
him?
always tells us.
You know what God said to him? He said, he called him, I think he called him selfish and ungrateful. Like, how dare you? Like, he said to God that he buried it because he didn't want to disappoint God.
Yeah.
So instead of disappointing him,
You look so beautiful, by the way.
oh, thank you so much. Instead of disappointing him from not making it multiply, he just buried it.
Yeah.
And God, I think God called him perverted, meaning God's pervert, by the way, means when you see things in a way that it's not natural way.
Yeah.
It don't mean that you looking at babies. I just want that.
No.
Look at the definition. You know, see, I just want everybody to know that. But yeah, he called him perverted. And he said he called him selfish.
Yeah.
He called him ungrateful because he buried that 1 gift. Don't bury your potential. Talk. And burying your potential when you're doing that, talking when you stop talking. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. Start stuttering. But when you stop talking, you are burying your potential. You are burying your potential to be fulfilled and fruitful at your fullest potential. That's what you are doing when you stop talking. TD Jakes, you at the bomb. TD Jakes, I got these notes from you. Okay. Yeah, sure.
So what I can say, what do I do when I can't talk? And I don't want to bury my potential, but I can't talk because you're going, not saying you per se, but you're going to take it the wrong way because of the way I come off.
Well, now that you know that there is a little aggression about the way you communicate, tone it down. And then well, you know,
teach me. I was the student today.
What you do is, I say just gather your thoughts. I say gather your thoughts first before you open your mouth. A lot of people forget to think before they speak.
Okay.
People just.
Joey's on the line. He wants to say something. Hold on, Joey.
Hello. I'm sorry, guys.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're on speaker. Do you want to be on speaker?
Yes.
Yeah.
We got a call in, guys. We got a call in.
That's no.
It's my brother Joey. My little brother Joey. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know how far behind I am, but we just like maybe 15 seconds ago heard you talk about the story in the Bible with the 3 men and their talents. So you kind of got that story a little wrong.
Oh, okay, I did.
Yeah, just a little bit. So you said, I think they might have got all the equal amount of talents. I think they might have got the equal amount, but that's not the biggest part. You said 2 of them came back and multiplied.
Yeah, 2 multiplied it, right?
No, so only 1 multiplied.
Oh, only 1 multiplied it and 2 didn't multiply it. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so 1 multiplied it,
okay.
1 buried it.
Yeah, see, I said don't quote me, guys.
Okay.
And 1 blew it.
Like didn't bring back anything.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to call in to kind of because I knew you was making a good point, and the point is 2 of them didn't. It was only the 1 special one that actually took his talents and multiplied it.
Okay, so it was only 1 guy that multiplied it and made it more. So 2 didn't multiply it and 1 did. But what did God say about the 2 that didn't?
So pretty much the I guess everybody can take what they want out of it, but I think it kind of shows you that there's 3 type of people in life. There's people who take their situations or whatever they're given, the cards that they're dealt, and they do nothing with it. They stagnant. They don't move. So you can kind of equate that to the person who buried it, because of fear or because of selfishness or whatever, you
Right.
get nothing from what you were given. And then you have the one who blows it. So you know you're giving the world or you're not giving anything, but you don't do anything. Not only don't you do anything, but you actually make less of yourself.
Yeah.
In any situation, regardless of what it is, you did nothing to progress. You didn't even stay where you are. You're actually worse than where you are. And then that's that person who, no matter what happens, you're gonna make the most of it.
Right.
So, and mind you, it doesn't really say. It doesn't tell you the story on how he multiplied it. It just said that he did. So he could have lost everything, but the fact of the matter is, when he came back, he had more.
Right.
But so it kind of shows you that there's three different ways you can go in any circumstance, and that's like I think that's the most important part that I think that passage wants us to understand. Is that you can choose, no matter what you're given, to make more of it. You absolutely can do nothing with it, or you can make the most of it.
Right.
Or you can end up worse off than where you started. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of call it and kind of say that because you were making a great point. But that little nugget is very important because it shows you, it's not just you make more, you make less. You can either stay stagnant, you can move forward, or you can get pushed back. So you can allow yourself to, be worse off than where you started. So, yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Joey.
Yes. So I gotta be the next guest. I love the show.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you.
I was like,
we'll have you. We'll definitely have you. I'll let you know our new topic. Okay. They just come to me randomly.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll hang up and continue to watch.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. Oh, my wonderful brother Joey. I love Joey. He's just the light that dims off of him is just so wonderful. But yeah, so what Joey was saying that those three different type of people in life there is the one that's stagnant, the one that what else are you saying, Nigel? The one that that go and come back and get it,
and then it was the one that really just multiplied
and then multiplies it. Yeah, so that has a lot. I think those type of ways of people also can play a big deal on communicating as well.
Right. Well, in other words, what would you do with your communication? What would you do? And how would you do it? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, what ways would you take upon communicating? You know what I'm saying? Because believe it or not, sometimes you communicate with your eyes too.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what the percentage is. I should have did the research. I was so caught up on TD Jakes' point on communication. I didn't even Google it, but body language is definitely a big part of communication. But what I was saying was the lack of communication can cause you to be like those type of people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Just from not talking about it. From not because you don't want to get the knowledge, because you have your pride, you got your ego, you want to put it aside, or because you just don't know who to go get the knowledge from, or who to talk about, or how to talk about it, or how to talk about it. Yeah,
that's big.
How to talk? How do we? That is big, guys. Because that's the thing. I'm gonna keep saying this. I didn't want this show to be a racial thing, and it's not, guys. But mainly in the Black home, we are not talking about things, guys. We're not talking about it. Why? What stays in this house? What happened in this house stay in this house? Why? Because you don't talk to me about it correctly. So I need to go get it from Syrian.
Yeah.
Or even, Mabel from across the street. The black old lady that got all the good wisdom.
Yep, and the candy.
Because putting that saying that to a child puts fear in them to communicate. They when it is time, when people do finally want to listen to them, they're scared. Because they was told what was happening in this house, stay in this house. So now they think, now when they do say talk. They may be fabricating it just because they just want somebody to listen.
I want to say that I grew up on what happens in this house stays in this house as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But I also was allowed to communicate with my mother.
Okay, that's
As
good.
long as I said it respectfully. I can still to this day I tell my mother anything and everything
Yeah.
I've had in all my life.
That's good.
I used to tell her myself before she found out. Because I know if I communicated properly, she can't get mad.
Yeah.
I told you.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
cannot be mad.
That's really
So I
good.
teach the same thing to my children as well as don't go outside this house and tell my business either.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's why when I say what happens in this household, stay in this household, whatever happens in this household, don't you go out in them streets and say it because as a child you might misinterpret what's happening in this household and go out there and say something different. Now I got babies at the door,
Yeah.
and I'm not mistreating my kids.
Yeah.
But once again, as children, they can't interpret things the way we do as adults.
Right.
Absolutely.
To
Yeah.
them, it may look wrong, but at the end of the day, we protect them.
Yeah.
Right.
But they might go out there and change the whole story around and look like we the ones doing wrong in the world.
Yeah.
So when I say what happens in my household stays in my household, I mean, y'all better not say what the hell I just said outside. Because you ain't gonna say it the way I said it, they're gonna take it the wrong way. That ain't gonna be coming to get you.
Yeah.
Yo, who gonna get y'all? Like,
Yeah.
Well, our parents didn't present it to us like that. They put fear in my life.
and that's what I said. We don't
Well,
see
we
things
wasn't
the same
allowed
way
to
as
talk
a child.
about it.
No.
You know, we wasn't
And
allowed.
that's one thing I can say with my parents that me and my sister were allowed to openly talk to my mom as long as we said it with respect.
Absolutely.
Right.
Like I could be like, Mom, I didn't like this, that, and the third. Okay, and she's gonna tell me why she did it.
Yeah.
She might even apologize
Mhm.
because she sees that it hurt me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
But the learned behavior, my mom was also brought up what happens in this house. You don't.
Yeah.
But she was able to take that and say, I'm not going to do that to my
Yeah.
So we go back to learned behavior. I think there is a way to get out of that.
Yeah.
Because my mom grew up the same way I grew up. She was allowed to say stuff, but it had to be respectfully.
Yeah.
It also, whatever happens in this household stays in this household.
See, it was what
Absolutely.
happens in this house stays in this house, and you can't say nothing.
Nothing to nobody
Okay.
outside this household. I mean, outside this household.
And I don't want
If
to.
y'all
I don't
not
even
throwing
want
it
to
here,
care.
that's
Right.
y'all.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody.
I don't even care about how you
Yeah,
feel.
that's
Okay.
right.
Because you a child. You
Exactly.
stay in child's
You
play.
said child's play.
That's not
You
right.
know that's
Yeah.
psychologically abusive, guys. Okay, I'm just saying. If you like mommy, and you gave her, you said what happens in this house stays in this house, but y'all talked about it. I
In the
appreciate y'all. I like y'all. All right, let us talk about it because we are not talking about it. Okay. Yeah, that's so. So you do that with your kids? How do you think is Mimi allowed to do that as well?
Oh, absolutely. I want her to talk to me.
Okay.
And during while I discipline her, I explain why instead of just disciplining and just.
That's a big thing.
Okay, that's
Because
good.
that's what happened to me. I was just disciplined and was just okay, whatever. I don't care. I don't care about your opinion.
That's good.
So.
And see, I was always told why I was in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You're in trouble because you did this. You don't have this because you did this.
Absolutely.
Cause and
That's
effect.
important
I
for
was
a
always
person.
taught cause and effect.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Same.
And that's where I learned, like I said, I learned a lot of things from my best friend's parents, and who raised them. And I love y'all so much. I love every last one of y'all. My mom, Papa, all y'all. I'm shout y'all out. I love you guys so much. All you guys are just amazing. Like, yeah, I learned a lot of those things. I wouldn't be who I am and know about communication or care about communication if I didn't lack at it, or if it was something that I felt that needs to be talked about in the home and in our house at the table, like, and without throwing a glass at each other. Why when we talk to each other, why I gotta be right and you gotta be right? Why can't nobody be right but we just hear each other?
I can agree to disagree.
And even when you're talking, as far as that, you began to expand your relationship with that individual. When you just sit
But
there.
you start finding out.
You
Yeah, TD Jake said, I like TD Jake. He said that's why a lot of marriages or relationships, anything, don't last because y'all spent all these years together, and by the time divorce come, right, y'all talking about things and y'all didn't even know none of these things. Y'all didn't know nothing because nobody was talking about it.
I didn't know that you was less about this such and such. I didn't know that you was going through this back then.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like you really start finding out that long lasting forever person when, like you said, you know, you ain't gotta be right, I ain't gotta be right. Let's just talk.
Let's just
And then
talk.
guess what? The things that y'all didn't talk about that may enter into that conversation when y'all just talking.
Right.
Just me, I could talk all day.
Me too, man.
I can talk all day. But you have to understand you can't talk all the time.
Mm.
Because then after a while, that
Now-
person's ear gets turned off. They're like,
Right.
you're talking too much. So you
Right,
gotta know how to
yeah, because
talk.
at this point now, I just feel like you talking to be heard.
Exactly.
Now you just trying to
talking
take
to be
over.
heard.
Yeah, you just talking to be heard. Now let me talk, you know? Because we supposed to be talking about
We
it.
supposed to be talking about it. Well, yeah, you know, and then you start drifting and everything. I gotta get my nails done. We ain't talking about that though.
No.
I gotta get my hair done. That's off topic. Let's stay right here. Let's talk about the matter at hand. And when you start talking about the matter at hand, you're like, yo, we accomplished something.
Right.
And then you start really expanding on how to communicate with that significant other.
Yeah.
Because the simplest thing you did was just sit there
Mhm.
and you're engaging. And then after that, you're like, yo, that was type dope with this happening.
Right.
Let's keep that drive going. You know, let's keep doing it. And then you start passing that down to other folks. You
Right,
see what I'm
right,
saying?
yeah.
You know,
Pass it on to your children.
pass it on to your children, you know.
I think it's very important for young moms and young dads just to listen
Mhm.
to your
Yeah.
kids.
Children.
And when you're disciplining, explain, just communicate. It's too many suicides.
Yeah.
Little girls, little boys just killing themselves because they don't know how to express themselves.
Yeah.
Because you won't let them listen. Or you won't let them talk. You won't listen, at
Yeah.
least. I think it's
Yeah.
very important.
Very important. Very, very important.
Yeah, I'm the type of person that if I felt some type of way, if we, you know, if we got into it or anything, I don't feel like I deserve to sit next to you without us talking about it first.
For real.
You know what I mean?
For
Like,
real.
no, listen, I feel some type of way, let's talk about it. I don't want to fight, I just want to talk about it.
Let's just do it.
Get it, and then, like he said, you learn things about this person
Learn
and
things.
and all these other powerful things that talking can, you know, talking, people write $1 million contracts and have $1 million companies by communicating.
Yeah.
And they can do it.
Communicating is powerful.
Yes.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Very
Absolutely.
powerful. And like I said, it's not about, because this Action Friends that I'm doing, no one here is right or wrong. No one here, no, matter of fact, no one here is wrong. No one here is wrong. It's not about, Monty's not right. I mean, Monty's not wrong. She's not wrong. I'm not right. I don't know. We just talking.
I don't know. Yeah, it's different sides.
Everybody has a different story. Everybody's looking
You
at
know,
something
we're just
different.
talking to each other. We're just talking. We're learning and we're building and we're networking and we're broadcasting. All of that is communicating.
Communicating.
Right.
All of that is communicating. And that's a big thing in mental health.
Yes.
A lot of people that have manic depression and anxiety, I don't know how to say it right, guys. We don't talk. We don't talk about it. I remember when I was going through my suicidal experience, which, you know, I'll touch on later on, but I didn't want to talk. No one knew nothing I was going through unless maybe if they came and seen me, but you couldn't really look at me and tell.
Something was wrong.
You couldn't really look at me and tell. And most of the time, people that have depression and manic depression and bipolar depression and anxiety, you feel embarrassed. You don't want to talk about it.
So yeah, outside is perfectly fine.
Yeah,
And
and
at that point, you got dressed to the T just to make your outside look okay because your inside is so broken.
Come on.
yeah, I used to get dressed, put my lashes on, get all nice and cute. I got nowhere to go,
Nowhere to be.
but I felt horrible inside. And I didn't want to talk about it, and I didn't want nobody to see that I was going through it. So that's why I did all of that.
If
Before I
you see
did
it,
all
then they
of
want
it
to talk about it.
Yeah.
If I look crazy, like, well, maybe
They're
what's
gonna
wrong?
talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me look like I'm together that way. You're not minding my business.
Yeah.
And then what I found out about that also is that when you do cover all of that up, you know, you could be curl up around, your close friend. But then when you are introduced to somebody and you do want to, have a relationship with them, you start bringing that into that, and then now when you guys really do have an issue, y'all can't talk, and then what begins to happen, that particular person that has a lot of stuff going on within them, they will tell somebody else about you, but they're really talking about themselves at the same time.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that, and it's like, well, that don't make sense because that sounds similar to what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like that don't make sense. That's a little off. So I believe when like Zani said, Azani, I'm sorry, when it takes time, but just make sure that you don't ponder on that time, because when you look back, you gonna be like, dang, oh, could have had that opportunity. I could have had that opportunity.
Right.
That's why I make sure I don't put my mouth on nobody.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because you don't never know what somebody is going through,
Yeah.
and they probably can't communicate what they're going through on the inside.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
literally, if they were to really tell you,
Mm-hmm.
they might kill themselves right there.
Right.
Because it's so painful, so detrimental, so it's so tragic. So really, you just try to keep the communication as calm as you can, or keep the conversation as calm as you can. You can try to figure out what is going on with that person.
Yeah.
Because literally, we walk past people every day with these masks up. You don't know what they're going through.
And then putting that mask on, people really don't want to talk to people anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what happened was, my pop just came to the door, guys, and he just distracted me. Okay.
Absolutely.
But what I was saying was, when I was going through that suicidal thing, and being quiet was actually the worst thing that I could have done. I actually should have been talking to somebody.
Yes.
I should have never been holding it in and keeping it all within, because it makes you a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And having manic depression and bipolar depression and anxiety all at the same time, that's thoughts all in your head. You need to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that you need to not have in your brain and going through by yourself.
Yes.
You need to find somebody that you can trust to talk to.
Right.
And
Trust
even
them.
in the cases where you
Someone
don't
will listen.
Absolutely.
Someone will listen.
I'm telling you,
You just have
that's
to
powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
And even in the cases where you don't even know how to say it, write it down first. Think about it first.
Yeah.
I said it earlier. I said people forgot to think before they speak.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing we lack in that communication. Failing to consider what you are about to say before you speak it into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Write it down. Think about it. Rehearse it to yourself.
Yeah.
And this is only if you really care about mastering communication.
Absolutely.
This is only if you care about it. Even teaching people. Teaching people, for some reason, like, I'm gonna just, for an example, this is not an example, this is actually real life.
Yeah.
I work in the health field, okay? Doctors, nurses, CNAs, medical assistants, receptionists, they all don't like each other, okay? Nurses like nurses, aides like aides. No, none of them like each other, because one is a nurse, one is a CNA. That's communication as well, guys. Being on different levels and teaching people, like, if you're a nurse. Zani is a 20-year-old nurse, okay? I just have to put that out there every single time here, because that was definitely one of my dreams of life, but I'm good now. I think God definitely is giving me a different direction and stuff. But I am a certified nursing assistant. And I love all the nurses, the doctors, the medical assistants. I love all of them. I love every last one of them. Yeah, I love all of them. I'm eager. I love to learn. I love to, they all teach me stuff. It's amazing. But in the facilities, like, they don't like each other. They all treat each other like crap. If you are not a nurse, if you are an aide, you are treated like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, why? Because you on one level and I'm on another level. Why you gotta be beefing with me? And you don't even know. If you communicated with me, I want to be just like you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The health department is crazy when it comes to levels of where you are, and it's horrible, and that's everywhere in life. That's also, what is that considered? Networking. That's communication.
Absolutely.
Help me out. Help me out. If I look eager, if I'm at your cart every day and I'm an aide,
Right.
Don't be mad at me because you're doing med pass.
Right.
Teach me. Do you want me to help you with
Yeah.
Mrs. Barbara stuff?
Absolutely.
Like, you know, some things.
I think
You know?
communication in the healthcare field builds better teamwork.
Yes.
Yeah.
it
Oh,
does.
yes.
By far.
Yeah,
If you
like,
can communicate with your team that you're working with,
yeah. And a
Like,
lot
it
of
was a lot
facilities
easier.
lack at communication. It's
Absolutely.
crazy. You would think taking care of people, we will all communicate. We are dealing with people's lives. You know what I mean? That's another part of communication. It's
And,
powerful.
and it's so crazy because a lot of people, I'm not gonna say I'm a big shot. A lot of people think I am, but when because I'm so good with communicating and stuff like that, and really listening, people tend to come to me, and I'm talking about folks my age and sometimes even older. You know, it's like, what do they see in me that makes them want to talk to me?
Potential.
You know what I'm saying?
That
It's like,
potential.
whoa, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Uh-huh.
And when I'm talking to folks, I'm thinking like I'm Mr. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on. Half these things that I'm telling these folks, I haven't even done.
Yeah.
I haven't even gone through it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why me?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I thank God for it because, I was just the vessel for that particular person at that time. So when
Yeah.
people do come to you, take it as if, okay, they must have seen something that I went through. You know what I'm saying? And they want to come to you in private to try to figure out, okay, well, how did you do this? How did how did you, maybe come out of this situation? You know what I'm saying? They must, in other words, they trust you with something. But you probably can't even trust your own self.
Right.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Shut my mouth.
That is. That is powerful. But the main thing I'm trying to say is, guys, that we need to talk to each other, to learn from each other, to survive. That's what TD Jake said. He said,
You
we
cracked me up
need
with
to.
that TD Jake said. Yeah, she cracking me up.
But I got it.
TD Jake said.
I don't want people to watch my videos and think that I'm trying to, take their stuff. I gotta give credit where it's due.
No, absolutely.
TD Jake said.
Hashtag TD Jake. Oh, goodness.
He said that, connecting with people and talking is how we survive as a species. It's how we live. It's how we survive. How we understand.
Absolutely.
How we grow. How we prosper. How we succeed and achieve all of our wonderful things that we want to live in life. So start talking to each other, guys. Talk
just
to
a little
one
bit of
another.
effort.
Let's talk about it.
Can
Let's
we
talk about it with Ash and Frank. Hey, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Is that all? Do you guys have anything else? I think that we did.
So one, I want to thank you for having me.
Nigel.
Thank you.
Thank you for
coming.
Thank you for coming. Listen, we put it on for Nigel today. I don't know.
I said, oh my God.
Mike got heels on. I got heels on. I thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I love you so much. I really, really do. I'm really a big fan. And I love you guys.
I'm a fan of you.
You
I feel like
guys are my backbones. You guys make me never, ever want to give up. I really appreciate you guys. Guys, let's talk about it, okay? All the time. Don't stop talking. Let's talk about it. If you don't have nobody to talk about it, let me tell you something, baby. You could come and call. You could talk to me, okay? You can inbox me, all right? You can inbox me. I think on Ash and Friends, you could go to the messages, and you could talk to me about it. You could talk to us about it, okay? And we can help you out. We don't have PhDs, but we got friends that do. So we help y'all out. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching.